Hello, and welcome back to another episode of A Soft Girl Strong Mind. So, in the last few episodes, I kind of took a little step back from all the mindset concepts that I was sharing because I wanted to take the time to share my story, share the environment I grew up in, and what led to me getting into survival mode in the first place. So, last episode, I started talking about something that is very, very dear to my heart, and that is being the eldest daughter of immigrant parents. And if you're the eldest daughter of immigrant parents, that by itself causes a bunch of trauma, and it's trauma that we often don't really talk about because we're the type that doesn't ask for help. Our traits like being responsible and being hyper aware, like it's all seen as good traits. But what people don't realize is underneath all those good traits is usually fear, and that fear is not talked about enough. So I want to create this safe space for all the eldest daughters from immigrant parents. I see you and I feel you. Okay, so if you're the eldest daughter, you know how you can kind of sense when something's off in a room, or when someone changes their tone, or when tension starts to build up before anyone says anything? Well, turns out not everyone is like this, and not everyone could pick up on the small, subtle cues. But it's something that's so common with eldest daughters that we see it as second nature. Okay, so last episode I shared with you guys that whenever me and my cousins were playing and someone got hurt or we broke something, I would always get the blame for it at the end of the day because I was the oldest and I should have known better. And obviously, growing up with that kind of pressure and responsibility, you start being hyper aware of everything around you to start trying to prevent problems before they happen. So you start paying attention to things most people don't even notice, like facial expression, the tone in their voice, tension building in a conversation, or the mood in the room. And this isn't just with family. I remember whenever I would date someone, I would immediately notice when something was off, whether it's because they were a little more quiet than they usually are or their change of tone. Even if someone texted me differently, I can already feel that something's wrong. And I would always ask if there was something wrong or if I did anything. And they would always say, no, don't worry about it. It's nothing. Just for a couple of days later, for them to tell me that there is something wrong and there was something bothering them. And I would get so frustrated because in my head, I'm like, I'm the eldest daughter. I notice when things are off, even if it's slight. So don't lie to me. And this is with friendships too. If a roommate or a friend is bothered by something, I can immediately feel when there's tension in the room, even if no one says anything. And the tricky thing about being hyper aware is, again, people see this trait as a good thing. You know, you're hyper aware, you're observant, you can read people. But underneath all of that, we develop this skill because we are constantly scanning for problems. And this hypervigilance leads to other problems like overthinking. And if you're the eldest daughter, I know your brain goes 100 miles an hour at all times. The way I would overthink every single scenario, every single situation, you would assume I was a professional long jumper, the way I would jump to conclusions. And not only did I overthink everything, but I personalized everything. For example, after talking to someone, especially if the conversation was a little tense or a little awkward, I would replay that conversation in my head for the rest of the day, coming up with what I should have said or what I could have said, trying to pick up on any changes in their tone, trying to read their facial expressions. And that would lead to me thinking, did I annoy them? Wait, what did they mean about this? Was their tone different? Did I say something wrong? Did I do something bad? Is it my fault? And as you can see, this quickly escalated to I did something wrong and they're mad at me. And most of the time, none of these things were true. And my brain was just solving problems that didn't even exist. And constantly running those individual scenarios in your head can be emotionally exhausting and cause a lot of anxiety. So if you're the eldest daughter and you're constantly overthinking and making assumptions and have anxiety, this is probably where all of that stemmed from. Another thing I was thinking about recently, and I don't know if this is universal for all the eldest daughters or maybe it was just me, but so I have a younger sister, but she's 10 years younger than me. So we have a pretty big age gap. And obviously, the first 10 years of my life, I was an only child. So for those 10 years, I remember hearing my mom saying that I was her whole world and I was her only purpose and how I'm her happiness and she sacrificed everything for me. And of course, she's saying this in a loving and caring way, but I feel like deep down inside, subconsciously, I started to feel like I was responsible for my parents' happiness. And I think that's why I became so responsible and such a high achiever, because I was always trying to make them proud. Not sure if this resonates with any other eldest daughters, but it's something I started to ponder, because when you feel like someone sacrificed everything for you, you obviously want to make it worth it. So you work hard, you try to do your best in everything, you try not to disappoint them. A lot of eldest daughters carry this into adulthood without realizing where it came from. So if you related to any of the things I talked about this episode, I know you're going to enjoy next episode, because I'm going to be talking about something that is universal in all immigrant households, which is translating for your parents, mediating for your parents. And believe it or not, there is a term in psychology for this. It's called parentification. So definitely go check out that episode and let me know your thoughts on it. And I will see you guys next time.